All right, we're back again down here on the floor of the Memphis Pyramid, and today on the Bowfishing Podcast, I got one of my good friends with me here from Virginia. I'm not going to say West Virginia. I've already got scolded. The East Coast kind of all runs together for me because I never get to bowfish up there, and I want to. But this is my good buddy Brian White, and a lot of you guys that are here that are competitors, y'all know that name. Him and his team have always done really well, highly competitive. And I don't expect no less tomorrow morning when you guys come in.
See what happens.
Yeah, but Brian is my expert buddy on shooting stingrays. And
That's right.
when you start talking about bow fishing, you have kind of certain levels of bow fishermen. You have the guys that start out, they're wading, they're shooting carp, and then they graduate up to shooting gar, and then they start looking for bigger and better things. The hunting side comes out of them. And then they want to start pursuing trophies. And this is where Brian comes in. Whenever you start talking about stingrays, you're talking about a whole different caliber of bow fishing. So I just want to hand it over to you and tell us about some stingrays.
Absolutely. Glad to be here again. It's
Awesome.
always a blast being at the Open. You never know what's going to be at weigh-in.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and there's always a shocker when these boats start rolling in. But anyway, getting right into some stingrays. It's a different environment. You can do it at night and you can do it in the daytime. The daytime fishing is just something different than bow fishing brings to the table anyway, because when you think of bow fishing, you do it at night.
Right.
Under lights. Well, you got the sun, and you can go out there, you know, get a suntan and track down some rays, whether it be cow nose, southerns, or Atlantics. You know, we call that back home, and I fished at Chesapeake Bay, so we have one of the largest concentrations of cow nose rays at different times of the year. You know, you can find them between May up until end of September, even into October. And then later on in the year, you find your bigger ones. But, you know, you go out there, and I always tell people, see a piece of cardboard floating, there's your stingray.
Right.
And you can just see them finning. You can see them from way out. It's a lot different than the nighttime fishing.
Well,
So that's a blast.
That's something that I've always found interesting about, you know, growing up in Georgia. You know, we went to Panama City, you know, for spring break when I was in college. Showing my age, you know, Panama City was the place to go. And we'd go down there and, you know, inevitably somebody'd get smoked on the beach by a stingray, you know. So I'm thinking, man, I hate these things, you know. So, like, when you go out there, is there a lot of people that are pumping you up or you know, like, because I'm thinking about common carp and we always trying to put a conservation spin on everything. For me, I'm looking at a stingray and I'm like, man, that ain't nothing but something to sting you. And, you know, one of them killed Steve Irwin, so they already got me. They already got me mad at them. So
Absolutely.
What is it like when, I know you take people, you do some guiding up there, you know, and you work with Muzzy Pro staff, and I know you take all those guys. What is it you tell them, like, we're going out here, we're going to shoot these things, we're going to eat them, we're going to, you know, how do you get people pumped up about it?
Well, if you're into bow fishing and you have a bucket list and you want to mark fish off the bucket list, that's one of them for sure. So when you start talking stingray hunting and you talk about going in the daytime, that already automatically piques somebody's interest,
Right.
and you're ready to go. So then I'll give you. So if you come up, Chuck, and I'll be like, okay, so what do you want to target? You want to go shoot some cow nose? You've never done it before. Where we're at, you can find all three of them. And if you can shoot all three in a day, I call it a little slam, you know, because not everybody gets to do it, because them Atlantics are hard to find. Southerns can be too. But, yeah, so you just start talking it up, and how far offshore you want to go, so to speak, you know, what do you want to look for? And one thing is, too, a lot of the fish where we're at, bow fishing, you can harvest fish that can be caught on a rod and reel where we're at,
Okay.
if it's legal catching size. So like your drum and your speckled trout and so forth and so on. You have the opportunity for that too when you're in the saltwater.
So you got some more table fare that's going to be brought into the equation, not
Absolutely.
only just the stingrays.
Absolutely. But, you know, back to the locals and the support, you have the crabbers, the guys that go out crabbing every day hate these cow nose rays.
That's something I want to drive home because, you know, not living on the coast, a lot of people aren't familiar with what do these stingrays do. You know, we all know what carp do to bass beds and how, you know, a big female carp lays 1 million eggs compared to a largemouth bass, you know, a large female laying 20,000, you know, their accelerated growing rate. And you guys that are following along on our podcast, we dive into a lot of this stuff. but a lot of people don't know a lot about stingrays. So kind of elaborate on what they do and why the crabbers don't like them.
Yeah, so the cow-nosed, I mean, if you shoot one and you cut the belly open, there is shells in there galore. So they're going through oyster beds, tearing up crab pots, just mowing down blue crabs. And, you know, that's detrimental to their business.
That's their livelihood.
So,
that's what
you
those
know,
guys
they
out there harvesting every day.
absolutely hate them.
Gotcha.
And they'll come up just out of nowhere. Hey, man, hey, I just seen a pod over here. Go over there, shoot them all, shoot them all. You know, but they're good to eat. Yeah. So, you know, a lot of people just think stingray, you know, I don't, what do you do with them? You cut the wings off, flay them out, and you can grill them.
Yeah.
They're good.
Awesome.
So, you know, and then, you know, the rest of it, circle life. It goes back to nature.
Right.
And
I know
you
a lot
other
of guys,
fish and crabs will eat them.
When we've been down there before, a lot of the shark guys that fish for shark, you know, when we ride through town, they see that bow fishing boat with those lights. They know what we're going for.
Right.
When we're on the coast. And they'll come up and say, hey, y'all got any rays?
Exactly.
You know, they're like,
the smaller the better.
Yeah. And if you tell them, no, we're going, they'll give you their phone number.
Absolutely.
Hey, text me. I'll come meet you if you're going to keep some for shark bait. And they love it because it's just free bait for them. So, you know, there's always something positive to do with them.
Yeah.
When you go. What's your favorite one to chase as far out of the 3 species? What if you just had to, if you had to tomorrow, that was the only one you were going to go after, or if you're a new guy that's never done it, let's do it that way. If you're a new guy that's never done it, when you come up and say, hey, Brian, I want to go do this, which one is it?
You need to shoot a cow nose.
Really?
And the reason why, the fight, pound for pound, you know, I tell people all the time, I love to bow fish. I love to shoot all the different type of fish. You know, grassies to me put up a really good fight, but not for very long. Cow nose, you shoot one, and the fight is on all the way till he's in the boat.
Oh, yeah.
And he will, if you want to test your equipment, stingrays will definitely do it. You know, nice. and they don't get super big. I mean, you can go up there and shoot an average 25 to 35 pound, you know, cow nose. And of course, if you wing them or body shots, you know, they're fighting pretty heavy. But the southerns obviously get bigger. They're on the ground, you know, they're on the bottom, and they suck down. And it's a little bit more of a fight, but not as a pound for pound fighter of constant running as a cow nose. And then the little Atlantics, they don't put up another fight. I mean, you're looking,
right?
You know,
that's the pie plates. That you see people
they're pie plates, but they're the best eating right there. It ain't much on them, but they're good eating. But
well, let's talk about. You just said the one thing that pops in my mind, because I've shot rays, not a lot, but quite a bit. Like I said, down in Panama City and the Gulf Coast, you know, Louisiana and stuff. And you just said the one thing that instantly pops in my mind anytime someone says Bowfishing Stingrays, they shred equipment. I mean, these things are all gas all the time. And if you look at them, you not only the shape of them, they're all wheels. There's not a good spot to shoot them. So what do you tell folks to bring to shoot them? What's your ideal setup? And what have you found that holds up when you shoot one?
So there's a couple ways you can look at this. So you mentioned that I do some stuff with Muzzy and stuff. So they wanted to test out some equipment. I said, do you want to break equipment? What do you want to do? Do you want to put it to the test?
Right.
Well, when you're product testing, you want to test it to all elements. And if you want to break it, you can break anything. Bow fishing, as we know, across the board, is rough on everything, whether it be your body, the boat, the equipment that you're shooting, whatever. It's rough. It's rough. So you can, like shooting a grassy, for instance, if you're running and you shoot one and he's running this way, you're going to have to flip the bell and let him run. And then you're going to have to turn the boat and chase him down. Same difference with a ray.
Boat control, big time.
Yep. You got to turn on them, because if you shoot a cow nose and he's running, he will spool you, and he will break everything, and the bow will get jerked out of your hand if you ain't careful. So you can play hard with them, or you can finesse them, you know, and that's just the years of me doing it. So I know the ins and outs. You know, how well do you want to test your stuff?
I think that's a good point. Boat control on all fish. You know, that's where a good driver, you know, and we'll see that tonight at the tournament. Yep. You'll have some guys crying the blues in the morning. They'll say, we hit one, he was going north and we was headed south and we couldn't get the boat turned, and he took everything I had with him, or the arrow pulled out. There's always that element on anything you shoot, but rays especially, because like you said, when they make that run, there's no stopping them. There's a video, and I'll have to ask Tim when we get him over here shortly. That's one of those videos that ring in my head whenever I think about stingrays, of him. I don't remember, it might have been on one of his intros to the show. he shoots a stingray and off it goes, and he had a bottle on, and that joker snatched that bow smooth out of his hand, and off he went. And there he is sitting in the boat like, wow, I didn't expect that to happen. It was so fast, you know.
Yeah. If you want to see something cool shooting the cow nose, that is, because when you hit them, they run. Do a float. Do like one of them gator floats?
Yeah.
Just to watch. It's amazing to watch. You shoot one and they take off. You see that float going, and then when they calm down, I mean, they'll go a long way.
Yeah, there's something to be said, and every rod and reel guy and every bow fisherman that's had the luxury of shooting saltwater, those fish are built different. Anything that breathes saltwater is a bad son of a gun. You look at the size of the fins that they have compared to a freshwater fish, and you think, this guy doesn't have half the fins this grassy has. But he does twice as much work with it. And it's amazing, those stingrays, like I said, they're just all gas. I mean, everything on them's moving, and they're fighting against you the whole time. So it's going to put any drag you got to the test.
Yeah, you just got to play with it. Everybody's comfort zone's a little different. One thing I always stress to everybody, but I've been doing it a long time, so I know it's like second nature, but if we was to go out and, you know, you got to be careful of them barbs.
Yeah.
Them barbs will get you.
Have you seen people get stung, I guess, not paying attention?
I have. And most of the time they wind up going to the hospital for a short little trip.
Well, I got to ask the question. I know everybody's going to ask it. Is that the one you have to pee on, or is that the jellyfish?
That's a jellyfish.
Okay. Sorry, John. Sorry about that. My bad on that.
But so several years ago, we were down, and I'm on my boat, and I'm either barefooted or Crocs or flip flops. You know, you're in the sun. You know, you're having a blast because it's a different type of bow fishing, and I'm very cautious and pay attention. We had a tub full, and I had shot a big southern, and southern, their barbs are much longer. I mean, you're looking at barbs, probably about 6-7 inches.
Those are the ones that people put in the formaldehyde and bleach them. Okay.
Yeah, you know, kind of collect them like turkey beards in a sense. So I got them in the boat, and I know how to get them off. It's kind of a two-man process, and if you want to be real safe about it. And I had to put him in the floor. Well, I was paying attention, but I wasn't paying as much attention as I should have, because I thought I was safe, you know, because I cut the barb off. Well, the tail on a southern is real raky. It's got little barbs on them, so to speak, little, and it raked across my foot right there. Time I got home 3 hours later, I was very sick.
Really?
Just for like 24 hours. It was just like a stomach bug. And I was like, what in the world's going on here? So I went to the doctor because I didn't know.
Right.
And they said, well, do you have any bacteria or come in contact with anything? It's like, you know, come to think of it, this right here, and that's what it was. Really? So not only do you have to be careful of the barbs, all them fish carry bacteria as well, just like any other animal or whatever. So you just got to be mindful.
Right.
You know, and it wasn't I was careless. It was I just thought it was just a barb that was going to get you.
Right. Oh, that's me. That shows my ignorance to it. I would have thought the same thing. I know when we've done it before, I've always taken just a pair of regular like yard loppers. So right when they come in the boat, we just lob their tail off right there because I'm scared to death. It's almost like having a snake in the boat. You know, I just don't want it in here. I want it out. So we would always just lob the tail off with the barb on it and just let it be free. Yeah. You know, I didn't want it anywhere in the boat.
The ones that we turn loose, you know, because if you wing them, it does nothing to them. You know, they'll survive. I don't lob them off because I like collecting the barbs.
The barbs. Okay.
I have so many barbs I've collected over the and they're anywhere from double. You know, some of them have double and triple barbs, and they're from this size here all the way up to 6-7 inches.
Wow.
So they're pretty neat. They're pretty neat.
And that's the barbs are just used for defense. I mean, they don't use them for nothing but.
As far as I know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I didn't know.
As far as I know, all I know is they get sliced off first and foremost before they come in the boat.
Right. I got you. Well, what about the biggest? You said they're the southerns. What's the biggest one y'all have gotten up there?
Mine was in the 70s. They get bigger than that. But and that was a pretty good fight. You got to get a couple arrows in him to get him in. Yeah. So I'm not sure what the record is on that, but I do know they get on up a little bit bigger than that. But the cow nose now, on the other hand, I was knocking on the Virginia state record. I was 49.5 pound cow nose.
Wow,
that's shot. It was very, very big. I wish I'd have kept that one and got that mounted, but I didn't.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't. But now the record's moved up to, I think, like maybe 55 or something. But at the time, I was knocking on it. It was 50. And I was like, oh, my gosh, I think I have it. And it's like 49 and a half.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, that was a beast. It was a beast.
Yeah, I've never seen one that big. What there's going to be a lot of guys, like, we're doing this podcast, and it's everything bow fishing and everything Bass Pro Shop. And you know as well as I do, bow fishermen are hard-headed, and they want to do it their way. So we know there's going to be a lot of guys that are going to be grasping at the little snippets of information that experts like you are going to lay out there for us. What is the best time of year for a guy that wants to go try to do it on his own? What's the best time of year that you would say they're going to have the best chance for success to come up to the shores and try it?
I would say the end of May, June, and probably first part of July, because that's when the heavy concentration of them are in there.
Okay.
Like I may have mentioned earlier, I don't know if I did. You know, you've got a span from early May to all the way up into maybe end of September, October, and you know, you always got your stragglers everywhere you go, depending on what you're doing. But as the year goes on, the females are staying in there and pupping, and so the males are you know, heading out. But
yeah, that was my next question. Is that their spawn, quote unquote, or
no,
they give live birth, right?
Right.
Yeah, they don't actually have a nest or anything like a bed or whatever.
And they can drop 3, 4, even 5 that I've seen.
Okay.
Little ones, and they come out with barbs on, by the way.
Really?
Tiny little barbs, but they come out, so you got to be careful with them. But yeah, so I would say if you wanted to get out there, and you know, when you start playing with saltwater, that's a whole different world too, because the weather plays a huge factor in that. And don't go too far out, because it can change this blink of an eye. Watch the wind. Wind plays a factor on it too, just like anything else.
Right.
So if you're wanting to run one shoal and the wind's coming out of one direction, it's like and then it may push you out into deeper water where you can find them in deep water, you know, because most of them cow nose they're on the surface. Now your Atlantics and Southerns, you gotta find your flats.
So your Southerns are going to be more of your big shallow sandy flats, jetties, things like that, where they're going to be shallow water, you can see the bottom.
Yeah.
But the cow nose are typically, they're going to be in the deeper water.
And they run in schools.
Yeah.
And you can catch them finning, and that's when they're, you know, spawning.
Right on top.
Yeah, because very first time I went, I was looking, I was like, shark.
Yeah.
and it wasn't. I mean, the fins, the way they curl them up, I mean, it looked like it, and just it was only one side up. And I was arguing with the fella. I said, man, that's a shark. He's like, no, it's not. It's a stingray. I said, got up there, and it was several.
Right.
So, and you can spot them from afar. So.
What about equipment? You know, I've seen everybody use stuff from, you know, when I first started bow fishing, I seen guys shooting them with spools, and then I've seen guys shoot them with drums. I've seen guys shoot with bottles. I've shot them with reels. What do you use a lot of for? Just what's your equipment setup on them? And poundage, you know, just like I said, let's just talk to the guy that's going to go tomorrow. What does he
honestly? You can use anything that, you know, from. You had mentioned it earlier, of walking the creek banks, of finding your commons, to your, you know, lever bows, to recurves, bottle reels, to your spinning reels. I mean, any of it will work, and it'll work fine.
Okay.
You just got to be careful of reading that fish and where he's running to.
Gotcha.
The biggest problem you're going to have is with the cow nose, because they make a run. If they go the opposite direction, you're done. You might as well forget it. So
that's good. That's good information to know.
And the poundage. Let me touch base on that. It does not matter on the poundage.
Really?
Yeah. So
just depending on how deep they are, just kind of like reading the room, kind of like with everything else. It's just where you find them and where you catch them.
Yeah, because most of your cow nose are going to be at the surface, if not on the surface. Like I was saying about looking for a piece of cardboard floating. It literally looks like a cardboard out there with their color, and you use your amber lenses and your glasses to kind of help break down, you know, the glare and everything, just like you would any other type of fishing. But then your others are on the bottom. But the cow nose are pretty typically easy to find. So, but the poundage doesn't matter.
Gotcha.
I think I'm shooting 34 maybe.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Well, that's been kind of my assumption, is that with most of them, most of the rays that I've shot, they don't pull out. I mean, they're a tough skinned animal. a good sharp tip. You know, we shoot the muzzy carp tip. I shoot it on everything, gar tip or whatever. It's not like I needed a 3-barb or anything. It was kind of like shooting an alligator or, you know, a hard scale fish. It's like once I got it in there, it wasn't coming out.
Yeah,
you know, unless they broke the line.
That's right.
Because they had that leathery skin, saltwater. You know, they're just hard, real firm. They're not soft like a common. And you could put some real pressure on them fighting them without pulling out.
Yep, so. Exactly. I like the muzzy carp tips for that, and I use the big fish adapters with them. But you know, note to self for anybody that goes into saltwater: take them apart when you're done. Put your WD-40 on them and just don't crank them all the way down tight.
Gotcha.
Let it see, because that salt water will, I mean, it welds them together.
That's a good point right there. And this is something, you know, we're here, Memphis, Tennessee. We're a long way from saltwater. But something for these guys to remember, if they're going to go out and they're going to try these rays, how about like flushing? This is a good tip. I didn't even think about it till you said that. About flushing their engines, cleaning their equipment. Don't put up reels that are full of salt water. What should they do? What's some of the maintenance that you have to do? Because a lot of these guys aren't going to have a clue. They're going to go shoot some stingrays. They're going to high five, get their pictures made. They're coming back to Tennessee.
That's right. You know? Well, salt water is just, it kills everything regardless. So just get the fresh water as, you know, quickly as you can. And I take my bow and my reel and everything. I just spray it down with a garden hose. You're not going to get it all off. I mean, it's salt water. Yeah. And it's horrible. And, you know, you just try to flush out everything as far as whatever motor you're using, just spray everything down, grease everything up good, and, you know, put WD-40 where you need it.
Gotcha.
So just, you got to use that fresh water as much as possible. It helps. It doesn't get it all, but it does help.
I got you. Well, let me ask you this. Y'all planning on coming to the Worlds this year in Alabama?
Absolutely.
All right. I'm going to put you on the spot. You ready?
I know where this is going. Yeah, go ahead.
I know they're legal. I know they're legal for it. And do you think anybody's going to make the run for rays, or you think
it would be a smart decision?
Yeah,
I'll tell you that now.
Well, it's setting up for that right time, you know. But what do you think? I mean, just your professional opinion. Can it be done with the rays?
It can be done. You got to find the Southerns.
Okay.
You got to find the Southerns. That's going to be an interesting tournament. I'm going to tell you that now. Because it's where it's based out of and the runs that everybody's going to be making. It's going to be very interesting. Saltwater versus freshwater. There's going to be several guys going for saltwater.
We've never had a tournament that was open to this many species, you know, sharks. Or never, let me rephrase that. We've never had a world championship that's open like this.
Yeah.
So it's kind of uncharted territory, no pun intended, for a lot of guys. That's going to have this thrown in the mix that's even an option for the rays. So I know, like I said, I know you're thinking about it already.
Oh, I'm thinking hard about it. I'm going to be real honest. And if it was a little bit closer to my neck of the woods, it would be a no-brainer.
Definitely come into play.
Yeah, it would definitely come into play because, I mean, that's my backyard pretty much.
Right.
So,
and it's the right time of year.
It is. It is. So it's a lot of species it's open to. So it's going to be an interesting tournament to see what's being brought in.
Well, I'm going to keep on while I got you on the hot seat. I'm going to ask you again. What's your prediction for the morning? What's it looking like? I know, and I'm fixing to dive off. Go ahead. I got another one right after this. They're firing right now.
You talking about total weight wise?
I'm just
thinking, or what type of fish?
I'm just thinking give us Brian White's prediction for in the morning and weight and fish and what I'm
gonna say between 600 and 800 pounds, and it's gonna be between grassies and big heads.
Nice. That's kind of the general consensus we're getting from everybody. So.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah, that's what I think.
All right.
So,
well, that's it. You got anything else you want to elaborate on shooting some stingrays, man? I think we pretty much covered it from top to bottom.
You need to come on up and play in my neck of the woods.
Yeah, we'll do it. I've never been up there and shot them. Not where you guys are, and it looks like fun. I mean, I watched y'all last year, and you know, I think it'd be a dang good time for sure.
It's a blast. It's a blast. Come up there for a couple of days, and we'll just target some different areas and shoot. We can maybe even hit the Potomac.
Well, maybe
because it's just down the road too.
Well, I hope you shoot them this year during the Worlds. That'd be awesome to see them come in.
I would too. Believe me.
Well, thank you, brother. I appreciate you being here. If you need to find out some information, where can they find you online? And
Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah, Brian White. Hit him up. He'll answer all your questions on your stingrays. But stick around. We got some more podcasts coming up here.